Good morning. I'm so missing your faces this morning. I did want to go ahead and do a little bit of our reading lesson this morning with you. We're going to do just the first half right now. And then when my second class comes in, I'm going to record the second half and post it. But I wanted to tell you that we're doing a new skill today. And so I wanted to test you out and see how good you are at this skill just in your daily life. And then I'm going to show you how it applies to reading, okay? So I have two tasks for you. I've got a bag of shoes over here beside me. And the first thing that I want you to do when I pull out a shoe is I want you to stop. I'm going to pause for just a second. And I want you to see if you can figure out whose shoe in our house that shoe belongs to. And the next thing I want you to do is think about what kind of shoe is and what we might use that shoe for. Okay, so I'm going to start with our very first shoe. Okay. Think about the two things I want you to try to determine. Whose shoe might this be, and what might it be used for? If you guess that this is Ellis's shoe and that he uses it to run and play, you're exactly right. All right, let's look at our next shoe. Oh, I got a big one here. Oh, whoa, gotta hold it that way. All right, whose shoe do you think this might be? Think it might be Mr. Andy's? If you guess that, you're right. Why do you think he might need this shoe? Okay. All right, so some people in my class this morning said maybe they thought it's a church shoe or a work shoe, and I asked them why they thought it was Mr. Andy's. What were the clues that gave that away? And they said, well, it's boy colors. It's really, really big, and we know yours and Ellis's foot is not that big. And I said, you're right. And they said that the reason they thought it might be a work shoe or they thought it might be one that he wore to church is because they've seen people in their family wear shoes like this to church. And I said, you're exactly right. Okay. All right. Got another shoe here. Oh, it's kind of dirty. It's plastic, rubber. If you guess that this is my pool shoe, you're correct. Okay. This is the shoe I wear outside or anytime I'm in water because it's plastic. It's not going to tear up. Okay. All right. Awesome job. All right. Let's look at another shoe. Oh, little tiny shoes. Little leather shoes. You're right, it's Ellis's shoe. And these are his church shoes. If you guessed that too, these are his nicer church shoes. Okay, what about this shoe? Oh, it's another little shoe, isn't it? All right, so it's pretty easy to determine it's Ellis's. It's a boot. What do you think Ellis might use this boot for? Why do you think he has a shoe like this? He uses it when he works in the garden with his grandparents. It's okay if it gets muddy. It's okay if it gets wet. Okay, good. All right, let's look at just a few more shoes. Ooh, what about these? Okay, all right. If you guess that these are mine, you're right. What was the clue that gave that away? I never told you it was mine. How did you know? Well, obviously I'm the only woman in our house, right? So I'm the only one wearing high heels. Where do you think I might wear those to? Wedding or church, something I'm dressing up for. Okay. How did you know that? Oh, you've seen your grandparents or your mom, or maybe you have an older sister. You've seen them wear shoes like that to fancy things, right? Okay, what about these? You might think they're Mr. Andy's, but they're actually mine. All right, what might I use them for? Well, you can see they're nice and worn in. Yeah, when I go walking lots of places, if I go on trails or hiking with Mr. Andy or my nephews, I like to have something with good support, okay? Final shoe, this is it. Whoa, it's so big it won't even fit on the screen hardly. So whose shoe is this? This is Mr. Andy's shoe. And what kind of shoe is that? It's so dirty. Crockett's been chewing on it. Oh, looks like it's got holes in the top, but it's got a thick rubber bottom. It bends. If you guess that these are water shoes, you are correct. These are water shoes. So how did you know that they were Andy's? Well, they look like a guy shoe. They also are really big. And you probably knew that they were water shoes because you may have some at home, or you may have seen someone wear water shoes when you go camping or kayaking or out on a boat or something. Okay, or maybe even just at the park playing in the water. Okay, so what you just did, guys, is you just made lots of inferences. So say the word inference with me. Inference. Okay. An inference is where you get to make a decision, okay, or you pick an answer. Like you guys said, these were my church shoes or these were water shoes. You made a decision, you made an answer or created an answer. But the way that you got there was not by me telling you the answer, okay? You used two things to find the answer. You used clues like there's holes or it's rubber bottom or it's bendable. That's a clue. And then you use something that you have in your head called schema. Schema is just a big fancy word for background knowledge. Okay, it's your own personal experiences. These might be for a wedding because I've seen my sister wear fancy shoes or prom or something like that. You used your background knowledge and then you also used clues. You put those two things together and that's how you were able to decide whose shoe it was and why we have those shoes. Okay, that's our hook for today's lesson. When you tune into the next video, we're actually going to look at some anchor charts and we're going to dive into the text because of Winn-Dixie. So please have your I and B ready and also have because of Winn-Dixie pulled up in Canvas. Okay, remember to access that. You go to Unit 1 on my homepage, because of Winn-Dixie, and click on the story. See you guys in just a minute. Have a good morning.